All right, welcome to episode 8 of this series. And I decided we're going to finally create the ideology layer. And we're going to start off in Scotland. We're going to go and remove the alliances. And we're going to have the uh, wrong one. Okay. There, we're going to have the brush size 1 thick. And this is going to be our shape for the ideology. So we're going to go ahead and actually copy it down here. The English, the Cornish, actually the Irish right here. We could actually probably delete the this shape right here and resize it, as these two are the smallest ones in this area. So boom, boom. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the shapes straightened up for y'all, and we're gonna have the French right there, the Italians right here, the Greeks probably like right there, the Prussians obviously have a really large circle for them. I do not have any of the population centers set up yet for y'all, sadly, I know. But again, I plan on making that a live stream, so look out for that. We're gonna have the this country right here. I don't know what I called it last time, but it's gonna be right there. I'm just gonna go and give all of the European countries circles. Uh, you know what? We can go ahead and count this Caucasian country right here. I wouldn't consider anything else European here. Maybe other than this area up here, but those are all claimed by European nations. All right, time to fill in these areas, and we're gonna have the democratic countries. It will be this color. The democratic countries will be consisting of Iberia, Cornwall, Wales, England, and uh, Ireland. Actually, no, we're gonna take back the England, and we're gonna have the Scottish be democratic, along with the Finnish, this Moldovan country, Romanian country thing, and this red center Balkan country, and this Liechtenstein country. Now, we're also gonna have the Caucasian country and the Russian country, which this blue color is the democratic version in this world, and we're gonna have the monarchist one coming up soon, which is the monarchy ones is gonna be this color, and it's gonna consist of all of these countries. So and also over here we're gonna have fascism, the first one in the world actually, and it's gonna appear all the way over here, and it's gonna be the light gray color. But this fascism isn't as far right extreme, and the far right extreme one would be this brown color. Let me make it larger. It's gonna be this color. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and bring back the shapes, which is gonna end up looking like this, as we're gonna have to cover every single country. The Iranians, go ahead and bring it up. The this Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan nation, northern China, Korea, southern China, Vietnam, Thailand, as their circle is gonna be this big. Southern green India, eastern India, Bangladesh, red India. Oh, excuse me. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Ethiopia, this brown country right here. We can call it Equatorial Guinea, or actually, because I believe in modern day we have Gabon controlling this land. Gabon, Malawi, that's what I'm gonna call it, even though it's nowhere close. And I'm starting to realize how many less countries are in my civilization world. Wow. Oh yeah, Sri Lanka. Because I think they're actually one of the smallest countries in the world compared to um, Wales and Cornwall, but they are one of the more smaller ones. All right, time for ideologies. So we're gonna have the monarchy one be more prevalent throughout the newer countries all the way over here, as they're gonna be prominent through these areas. Ethiopia is gonna be one of the monarchy countries down over there, and we'll have Yemen. Actually, no, Saudi Arabia, monarchy country. And time for the democratic ones. Red India, um, Southern India, and the you know what? I'm gonna fix this version of fascism. It's gonna be communist. Boom, boom, boom. So these versions of communism, they don't matter as much to the world, but it is still communism. So yeah. So we got many ethnic or not ethnic. We got many ideologies going around the world. As this is what it looks like now. And if we go ahead and bring up the alliance layer, you can kind of see it's kind of dictating the alliances. Monarchy and the democratic countries, they're actually working together a lot more compared to what it is actually. Except for down over here, which those are in the same alliance. But we can see some fascism spread, or no, some communism spread into Europe, as it will spread into this country, this green country, and it will spread into this country right here. So yeah, we might need to size down this shape right here. Yeah, sadly we're gonna have to size it down. Never mind, we can't because it's weird. Actually, could I? Okay, I have no idea. So I'm gonna give up working on that for now. But this is what we have so far, and this is the introduction for the ideology map layer. I mean, but we are soon gonna have even more countries in this world, so we can go ahead and turn off both the ideology layer and the alliance layer, as I have not focused on the major cities. That'll be something for next time. But we will see a new country appear, and it's gonna be um out of the Greeks, but it's gonna be to release their little thing, their land expansion, but it's also to keep their control extremely high. So we're gonna have their colony, their new puppet state. They're gonna have very limited amounts of water through the Red Sea areas, but we will see the Greeks not give up much land except for most of these deserted areas or actual desert areas. We will see them give up all these other territories for their new puppet state of the Saharan Desert. Like that's what it's called, because they don't have any more plans to expand south down here. Like no, it all those plans are gone. So we will see the capital of this new country look like this, as it will be placed on to the coast of the Red Sea and extremely close to the Greek borders, but it is actually really just the Saharan. Yeah, very sad day. We will see a new country appear out of Asia finally, as there's again as I started to realize there's not many countries in this world. So we're going to see a little pinkish reddish country up here. It's going to be right here around this area, but it will be not bordering the not bordering this space country yet, as they wanted to make a bunch of room for themselves. That way there would be no room for any aggression for anything in between. Though it does come with some consequences, as China will immediately go against that rule that they were making, and they will instantly begin to influence this country. Not a good thing, by the way, as they were intended to be a democracy, but will instantly turn into a monarchy. So we will see this turn from the actual democratic blue that they were originally supposed to be. Let me fix that. The original democratic blue, they were... I never put it on the right layer. Why me? But we will see the actual democratic blue turn into a... let me just go ahead and make it... This blue turn into this. Also, this monarchy country will flip over to a democracy as they see the great potential out of it. So, new country that was originally supposed to be a democracy country. Yeah, it didn't go as planned. And their new capital will be right here, as that's where they set their first amount of land. Yeah. And we will see a green country appear out of all of this, and it will be right here, not bordering the Greeks, one of the only few countries in the world that do not have a Venus hatred toward the Greeks. And I've realized I put it on the wrong layer. But other than that, let's continue. So we will have the new country's borders be something like this, and these borders all the way up here look very heinous up here, and it will look like this as the red team will give up on their policy and immediately take up a bunch of land. As again, China has heavily not heavenly influenced them to take a bunch of land. So we will see this Tajikistan, this Stan country right here, also take up a bunch of land to block off the Chinese influence into the rest of the Greek area, as they see it for themselves, and for the Greeks to not invade these new two countries, which will have their new capital right here. Hence why they had taken this land up here. Actually, no, we will have their capital right down over here. Let me move. We will see them move their capital right around this point, which will look like so. And yeah, we will see them be able to finally fully explore the rest of the Himalayas, which will immediately begin to allow a bunch of countries to, explore. So, we can go ahead and guess that the rest of this area would immediately get explored. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight all this for specification reasons. Yeah, let's go with that. As we will see them fully explore the rest of this area, and we will have many new countries appearing from this area into the far future. We will also see them make massive explorations far into the Pacific regions, which will bring up a bunch of questions. What is beyond the non-explored areas, and what could there be? Well, we will find out right after new countries will be appearing right over here, and we will see a new gray country appear, and it will be right here. It will be made of many ethnic Chinese people, as they wanted to create a new nation, and many other previous nations that do not exist anymore, like the Red Empire. But other than that, they will be taking up this much land, which will leave the inside of this area up for grabs, which will instantly go up for grabs. As we will see the gray team instantly taking down most of this area, claiming it for themselves, rather than letting any other country taking it. As they will be taking this much land, I don't like that shape. As we will see them taking over or giving away that much land, and we will see this new Chinese country. That's what I'm going to call it. Them taking up much of these lands over here, though they will leave the rest to their new master state called China, North China. The rest of these areas will go over to the Korean country right here. So we will have a new race all the way down over here, which will look like so. After China will claim a bunch of these lands to separate all these countries, but it will not work diplomatically. As we will see this green team take up a little bit of land, but leave the rest of it for other countries, which is seen as noble, but also seen as hypocritical as they take it up over a bunch of land away from the northern Chinese. We will see the Bangladeshians take over this much land, and the rest of these, a little bit of these territories will go over to the um, East Indians. But other than that, we will see the Tibetans take over this much territory, and the East Indians take over that much. So it's clearly powerful that, or clearly known that the North Chinese are almost getting up to the point of the Koreans. The Koreans will notice this and they'll say, "You want to bet?" So now there's a entire race between the Chinese and the Koreans, land-wise. But I'm guessing y'all can already guess which one is winning. Yeah, as the Koreans, well, as you can tell, why. And this is when it'll finally be known there's a new full continent out to the world by the Koreans. They will discover the tip of Alaska all the way over here. They've explored through all of Russian territory. They were the ones that were exploring all of these territories. This is when they will come out of the frozen depths of the ocean, or frozen areas of the North Ocean, and this is when we'll see a massive exploration by the Koreans take over this much. So yay, the Koreans, the Chinese said. But that was before they realized how much land they could actually take as soon as they see a bunch of territory. Yeah. So so there's a bunch of territory being explored. So yeah, we will have this much. And we will see even more explorations as the French will say, "What if the world was round?" So they'll team up with the Iberian team, and they will begin to make their quest from this point to the west because they want to meet up with the Koreans. So they will begin to move their ships from one point of the ocean to the other. So they'll begin to pierce their way into the other area. They'll go a little bit off course as they find many major storms. So they'll go all the way off course down here. And a little bit of explorations up to that right there. But they'll go off course again. And this is when they'll find the Puerto Rican and the Caribbean small islands. Which again, they'll fully explore and as usual, as French conquerors, they'll fully say they found this land before the Iberians, which the Iberians will go ahead and leave this land, this chase they were going to go on with the French, which the French weren't expecting, but they'll say, okay, so more powerful than you. I'm the only reason why you exist, and the reason why you almost don't exist. So there's a little bit of infighting, but we'll see from the jumping of the Caribbean islands that the French will go ahead and make one way from, they'll send one team to go a little bit south, but not too much as they want to go north as it is getting a little bit too hot down right here. But after saying that, they'll instantly regret it, but they will continue their search after they find the Bahamas and the Haitian Islands, including the Cuban Islands, which will immediately go over to the French as they were the ones to find it. And we'll move over to the Iberian team, which will also make their own little um, thing. Also, this area of France, this new area of France is called the West French Indies, as they find a lot of Native Americans over here. And this is when we'll have the Iberian team send from their islands from mainland from here all the way to their islands over here. Also, fix this color because it looks a little poopy. So we will see the Iberian team use their navy for an advantage as they'll send a bunch of transporter ships from one point of the ocean to the other, which will look like so after they use their traded lands for their expense. And this is when they will begin to travel from all the way over here, which I'm just going to change to Dookie Water. This is when we'll have the Iberian team begin to explore all the way up here, and they'll find the warmer part of North America, which will instantly take all the attention off of Korea, except for the Northern Chinese. You know, competition will always stay. And we're gonna fix the ideological map in a second. And this is when we'll have the English areas all the way over here instantly say, "What if we ramp up our exploration into Greenland?" Half of them say no, the other half says, "Sure, why not?" For example, the Irish, they say no, we don't want to, as our country is very crippled. So they'll instantly explore without them. You know, it just kind of works like that sometimes. You don't get to say everything. Ireland. So all of southern Greenland is explored by the Scottish, and a little bit of the North Sea will be a little explored over here, but the focus on is on Greenland, as the Scottish will continue their exploration into these sea areas, and they'll send a little bit of a navy to, or a little bit of ships to go west to meet up with the Koreans to see if they really are this way. And this is when they'll find even more islands, and they will be like, "Huh, this wasn't here before," as they've scouted these islands before, but they those people were liars. And this is when we're gonna have the Scottish instantly begin to grow a major power all the way over here, as they will extend their colony from up here all the way from down here. Yeah, the Scottish are instantly becoming a major power, as you can tell. And the Scottish will continue their claims all the way over to the Canadian area. And they're going to stop over here as the Welsh are going to go ahead and make a little bit of a claim. So they'll stop around that point. Which already, this is an absurd amount of land for such a small country. Even for the, actually no, never mind. I was going to say the French, but, look at the French. They've taken over so much land. Okay, now let's focus back onto the ideological map. And we're going to have new countries joining different ideologies. So first, we're going to start off with these two new countries that one of them I forgot to add their capital. Other than that, but, the gray one, the green one, the green one, the gray one, and obviously the puppet state, but I think we all know what the puppet state's going to be like, though. So we will have the communists come over to the puppet state. Yeah, you thought it was going to be monarchy. No, they're communist, as they work for the people. And the Chinese government the Chinese will actually create their own ideology, Turns out it's modern day fascism. Like it's bad fascism. So, yeah. And sadly, it spreads over to this green country. But the democracy will spread into this gray country right here. So they are unaffected, but sadly, it will spread over to one of these smaller countries in Europe. The Cornwallis got it. And we'll even see communism even fall over here, and it's going to be the English. As they have no colonies, it's just simple them in their own land. And this is when we'll see another puppet state from Greece. From Greece. I know, right? That's crazy. Who would create two puppet states so that way they wouldn't lose all their stuff? Oh, that makes sense. So, how's it looking, Greece? You got two new puppet states. Yeah, they don't seem to like you. But one of them does side on their own ideology. It's going to be the one that has the recent new areas all the way over here. So, what's best for you, Greece, I guess. But, we're going to see these two small communist countries go over to the Chinese ideology right there. And we'll see a new ideology appear, and it's going to be the version of communism which is not going to be uh, false. It's going to be the thing where they do not have any type of ideology. They're simply free democracy, kind of like what the USA is right now. There's nothing simply there. There's no communism. There's no fascism, monarchy, anything like that until there's a ruler that says not. So, false democracy. I think that's what you call it. All right, now we're gonna move on to the city layer. We're gonna add the capital um, of the gray team. It's gonna be right in the Himalayas, right there. And for the this team over here, it's gonna be right between those two lakes. Yeah. And talking about all the way over here, we will see the Iberians begin to explore deep into Africa as they are the ones who want peace with the native Africa, America, as they want peace with the Native Americans. But based on with the experience with the French don't want that. They want all their land, all their money, everything. So good luck, France. Good luck to you. But all these lands will simply go over to the Iberians as they claim it for like what the modern day, what the French did in our timeline. They did it for trade of fur, stuff like that. So they will be not claiming as much land, though it's still going to be important into the future stuff. We'll see a claim right there, and this is when we'll get major amounts of settlements all the way across here, as they will fully explore almost all of the northern Atlantic. It's just the Canadian regions, and the other side of the Atlantic is simply unexplored. Also, over here, we're not gonna do it. No, Australia will not be discovered. New Zealand will not be. Sad day. So tip of Florida was found. Yeah, that means the English colonies. I'm just kidding. It said it would be called the French 13 colonies. So we will have the French 13 colonies come out of these areas, which will be from Florida, Georgia. Actually, we're gonna start off in. It's gonna start off from Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and then Florida. This is the French 13 colonies all the way over here. So that leads to a great thing in our real life that the French will allow more negligence for them, which will allow them to be more free. they'll be their own autonomous state, as they don't want their colonies to break away like what the Greeks did. So this area will continue to be explored all the way up right here, as the natives aren't really, some of the natives aren't telling the truth. They're leading them really far away from the colonies that actually are there. So, yeah, we got some disobedience, also some goodness here. As we will have these, I'm trying to think of something. I didn't think this far. As now we will have the Cornwallis team. Yes, the neo-fascist one take up claim all the way over here, as they will take into modern day Nova Scotian territory, and they will take up this much territory, which will look like this, and they'll continue to grow their little colony over here, which also leads over here. The Welsh over here, yeah, they're gonna claim a little bit up here, so will the French. But before the Welsh could, we will have the French claiming first, as they will be a little bit light over here, but they still want territory. As they will take over this much, and the Welsh will be taking over the rest of these areas, which will look like so. Which I'm just gonna like go ahead and mostly fill in Greenland. Actually, go ahead and fill in all of Greenland, because yeah, I think it's a little pointless. So we're gonna have these areas of Greenland be explored, as they will slowly explore the seas around these waters. Or they'll explore these waters around Greenland, which will look like so, but they do not find most of these Canadian islands, as they are too small or too far away to spot. Which will look like so after finally, the Scottish will make the largest claim ever. It will be like the Danish in real life. Yeah, they control most of Greenland. Which the Irish, they reluctantly give up their claim over here, but there is still hope for them in Iceland over here. But the Scottish will not give up any of their claims, as they are one of the most masterless countries over here. And we'll have the Irish finally make a little bit of explorations all the way out here, and yeah, they find all of this area. They even go down this area all the way down there, which will finally lead to the exploration of Ontario, which will look like so. Which part is broken off? Of course, one little pixel. But we will have these areas instantly get explored by the Irish, which the Scottish realized they could have, if they did not take over their land in Greenland, they probably wouldn't have explored over here. Which the Irish will go ahead and confirm, which is true. So a sad day for the Scottish, but the Irish will continue to explore into the American regions, which will lead to the colony of Ontario, the Irish Ontario. Ooh, Irish. Yeah. I'm not gonna do accents. But we will have the Irish taking up a bunch of claim, as they were the ones that had explored this, which a lot of countries agree that they should claim this, as they lost a bunch of men, a lot of women in this exploration, which the Welsh or the Cornwallis will instantly disagree with, as they are right against them on the borders, like sea territories. Which this is when the Welsh will go ahead and join and say, "Hello, guys. Hello." Yeah, no. You kind of see why I'm not doing this. They'll go ahead and make this much land all the way over here, which is already like 3 times their size in England, Wales, their homeland. Up here, this is probably like double their size, quadruple maybe. I don't know. We will continue to see the exploration into the Gulf of Mexico, which will look like this. As they will finally find multiple spots of the Yucatan Peninsula, and all the way down over here into Nicaragua, which they will instantly begin to search, and they'll reach all the way up into the Texan region, and they'll basically be like, okay, we need to explore the rest of this. Boom, boom. So they'll go ahead and begin to explore a little bit south of their colony, and they realize there's an entire giant Amazon down here. We probably should have set our colony down here. There's so much wood we can take, which is true. And this is when we will see them run into the Rocky Mountains all the way over here, which they quickly managed to escape from, and going through the coastal areas. And yeah, this is a lot of territory for them to explore, as they will even explore a little bit into the Amazonian area, but they do not explore much into the area up here. It is way too dangerous for them. Though they begin to claim a little bit of areas all the way down here. Yeah, they'll even find out there's some ocean all the way past here. Yeah. To the Native American who was trying to lead them away, the French said no, screw off. As they begin to claim islands. Like, for some reason they're so obsessed with them. And this is when we'll see them claim all the way down into Venezuela. Yeah. Yeah, they'll be claiming a lot of land, for your information, as they'll even be claiming all the way down over here into the Honduras areas, as they'll claim all of the Yucatan Peninsula. So they'll even go all the way down to the Texan area, all the way down over here. They'll go through the coastal plains, which will lead them up to right here. So, as you can tell, they're probably the Spanish Empire of this world, combined with the British Empire. Yeah. They'll even begin to go through some ideological changes. As, let's go ahead and take a look. They will not be joining the Chinese fascism. They will be moving over to flawed democracy. That's what it's called. They'll move over to flawed democracy, which will instantly put a few other monarchy countries into flawed democracy. For example, southern China, Moldova or Romania, Finland, Scotland, Iberia, and we'll have this Gabon country right here. And then we'll have the Red Indian country. And Germany. Actually, no, we are going to have the Greeks out of everything turn into a flawed democracy, as they are going to try something else for them. But it will probably not work, as they'll go from one point to the other. So, let's go ahead and check all the massive expansion areas of every single country. First, we're going to take a look at the Greeks, as we will be looking at these areas, including their puppet states, which will look like this, as they control this much land. And this is when we're going to go ahead and take another look. We're going to look onto Iran. Okay, you know what? Magic wand, come here. Iran. And then we got southern India, Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, and then Germany. They got a surprisingly large colony. And then Germany, they don't have any colonies. And then if we look to southern Italia, what they were originally supposed to be, rather than what they originally became, the next thing they weren't supposed to be, requested by the French they weren't supposed to be, and they went behind their back. And then we got the Iberian team right here. Though it looks like they claimed this much land, they claimed this little colony all the way over here. Then the Cornwalls. They don't own a colony up here in Greenland. They own a colony all the way over here in Nova Scotia. And then we move on to Wales. They own a colony up here and over here in into the modern day Canadian Main region. Scotland, they'll claim this much area for such a small nation over here. Ireland, they have such a large colony expansion all the way over here, they lost their colony into Greenland. The largest empire on Earth, France. They own, so far, this is the largest empire on Earth, and this is what they own. Most of Madagascar, most of South Africa, most of Western Africa, all of France and Northern Italy and Catalonia, Western Australia, and all these regions over here in Greenland, the southeast region of the USA, and their version of the 13 colonies, which is this region right here. Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and a little bit of New Jersey. I think that's 13 states, I don't remember, but if it's not, then include a few bit of Caribbean territories. And let's look up to Ethiopia. This is what they claim. A large downgrade compared to what they are in this area up here, into France. And then we move on to, no, we already did that country. Crimea, right here. They used to be a large, vast country, basically owning all two of these countries right here, and a little bit more land from Prussia and the Caucasian region. And last but not least, the last bit of the empires. Forgot. One they claim themselves as an empire, but they are actually not. Sri Lanka. But I am being serious. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. North China. They're not an empire according to many other countries' standards, except for Germany, as they own a large empire, and they were extremely expensive. As they are transcontinental, I think that's what you would call an empire. I don't know. The Korean Empire, they're about to become transcontinental, but that's another talk for another day. Vietnam, they're considered an empire because they transcend into Oceania. And then we got Thailand, a very massive country. If they unite with Vietnam, that would be an overwhelmingly strong country in modern day terms. Along with Iran, they would be a little bit stronger compared to modern day terms. Actually, no, they would be very strong, as they consist of many popular regions of real life. And let's move on to Malawi. That's Malawi country right here. They are a very vast country, and though they are landlocked, they are very peaceful with many countries, despite them being aligned with many other countries. For example, they are aligned with the Trisecta Alliance, which aligns with most of Europe and most of Asia, Eastern Asia, and these two countries in the southern regions. These two countries down here. Which, let's go ahead and turn that layer off. And this is going to be it for today's video. We had a very large, expansive alliance video today, and I hope you all enjoyed, and peace out.